There's no skepticism. It's just like kind of this world where it's like, yo, bro, we're doing hand tonight. You in? You know, like,
it's like me and my high school girlfriend. We're doing hand tonight.
doing hand tonight. Oi, boy, Sam, you ever stuck your dick in that hand? Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 124 of Press Any Key. You can find all of our social media below. You can also join us not only in the comments, but in our Discord too. With me, as always, my co-host, Nick McFly is here, everybody. Mike Burke from States Away is joining us remotely. And everybody give it up for Hey Gingy on the ones and twos.
Wee!
Mike Burke from his house arrest in Roku City.
That's right.
They got him, folks. They got him.
The plot thickens.
Extradited.
Okay. Fucking he's hanging out with Julian Assange and
Edward Snowden.
Edward Snowden. I was gonna say what's his name?
Goodwill Hunting.
Burt Bacharach, but
Burt Bacharach.
I guess he hasn't been extradited anywhere, huh?
To heaven.
Oh no.
He's dead, right?
Extradited to hell. I don't know. I mean, listen, if Burt Bacharach died, he definitely
went to hell. What did he do? What don't I know about Burt Bacharach?
He died February 8th of this year.
All right.
Okay.
Perfect timing.
Awesome.
I'm not excited that he died. I'm excited that I was right that he was dead.
You seem excited that he's dead. I'm just saying. Like, if somebody asked me compared to somebody who's not showing what you're doing, I'd be like,
all right.
Seems excited that he's dead. You know?
Cool. All right. Anyway.
Get up, Mom.
So this week we watched Disney's Haunted Mansion.
That's right.
It's taken America by storm.
As my tattoo says, I have to see every Jared Leto movie in the theater twice.
We joined the cult and we were forced to get tattoos.
Business still wasn't enough to pull Haunted Mansion all the way through.
Did you guys actually see Haunted Mansion?
No, I did not see Haunted Mansion.
No.
I saw that.
Mike, you weren't included. That was for Pat and Liz.
Hey, listen. Maybe it's just me.
Come on,
I'm not sold on a movie by somebody making $16.75 an hour in the Florida sun, dressed up like Cruella de Vil, coming down the red carpet. Okay,
but I mean, Danny DeVito. That's enough to get a lot of people in the seats.
Not enough.
Did you see the ad? I started seeing this right around the time that the strike started. So I don't know if they were like, how do we advertise this movie? And it's just all of the cast of Disney's Haunted Mansion doing ASMR. Mm-hmm. And Danny DeVito's like, we're doing asthma today.
Well, I talked about it in the secret episode.
Oh, I wouldn't know.
And
I wasn't invited.
Yeah, well, you also don't listen. So,
well, I mean, why should I? I'm here.
It's secret. You can't listen.
It's secret. It's only the key bumps get it. Anyway, yeah, if we had memberships, that's what that one would have been. Yeah. Anyway, I talked about it, and the couple of the main reasons that movie ended up the way it did, like even if you remove the strike, is number one, why did they put out a Halloween movie in July? What a miscalculation on all fronts. Number two, $160 million is way too much to spend on a Haunted Mansion movie. And number three, it's neither scary enough to be R or like silly enough to be like PG. So it's this weird like PG-13 horror fest. But
it's for everyone and no one.
Above all else, though, right? Because even if you put that in October when like the big horror movies come out, it's like, well, I can't take my kids to go see, The
Exorcist.
Yeah, or whatever. Oh yeah, that's right, The Exorcist.
That does look good.
It does look good. And
Paw Patrol.
Saw Patrol.
Like, so I'll take them to go see this instead. But the thing that encapsulates all this is that I would bet that Disney knew about 2/3 of the way through the production that this thing was a stinker.
So they were like, August is the dumping ground.
They could lose on this and write it off as opposed to trying.
Why not just pull a fucking Batgirl. Thank you.
A Cat Williams.
A Cat Williams. Why not pull a Cat Williams and get in a fight with a child?
Get the shit kicked out of me by a 6-year-old. All right. Well, speaking of getting the shit kicked out of you, does anybody here play fighting games?
No.
Okay, so shout out to my boy Justin. He's a big Tekken guy. He likes fighting games in general, but and my boy Momin, he actually competes in Street Fighter 6 tournaments, which is I should have asked him about this actually. Now that I think about it,
was he in this tournament?
I hope so.
Yeah.
So This comes from an article from Kotaku. It's entitled "Street Fighter 6 Tournament Accidentally Flashes Chun-Li Nude Mod," which I saw this clip going around on Twitter, and I did not I didn't listen to the audio the first time. I just saw it in a tweet because I went unbelievable and just kept I was like, of course they would
You're for shame.
Yeah, you guys didn't figure this out yet.
It's like the same thing when Congress was talking about UFOs and everybody was just like, yeah, whatever. We kind of already knew.
Not that I endorse cheating in any of these competitive esports, but I'm going to say this. There was a guy one time who he had a cheat in CSGO where he competed for years with this thing, where he found out that he could hotkey a cheat to his number pad that made the walls transparent and he can see people. So when an official would come by or somebody, or they switch to his camera or what have you, my point is that he could easily turn this thing on and off. Why would that not be your starting point on any cheat or mod that you implement? Why would you not put in a hotkey to just turn it on and off when you need it to?
So you're talking about that for nudity?
I'm talking about this for nudity. So things were off to a normal start during a July 31st tournament hosted by the Twitch channel Corner to Corner as players pulled up to the weekly competition series. Unfortunately, the 7th of 96 matches, they didn't even break 10 matches.
They didn't get 10 matches in.
Some shit went haywire. Things went awry. Understatement. Between competitors Lensta Kimberly and PAK's Chun-Li, the fight kicked off with the latter in complete nudity. Even the commentators couldn't figure out how to address what one called it, quote, an interesting Chun-Li costume. Once I read that, I went back and listened to it, and bro, they are painfully trying to.
They are.
Because if I was there, I would have been yo, like that.
You need Jason Bateman in Dodgeball to commentate that type of stuff.
F and A, Chun-Li, F and A. According to a tweet from the self-proclaimed drama YouTuber Nicholas Diorio, the tournament host forgot to turn their naked mod off. In the end, the players exited the match. The organizers restarted the game to remove the mod, and everyone resumed the tournament. I love how it's we're just gonna act like that didn't happen. You know what I mean? We're just gonna pretend that this guy wasn't all horned up on
George Bush as he's reading a book to a class of second graders, gets the information and just continues reading.
Did you just compare this to 9/11?
Yes, I did, Mike.
Oh, by the way, guys, speaking of 9/11, I did put the 9/11 meme back on the account.
Was it down?
Good.
I took it off because we started to get some heat and it started to go in the wrong direction.
Oh, yeah?
So I took it down and then I unprivated it, and immediately it started getting traction again, but it's with the right audience again. I go, yeah, they know. I don't want to get in trouble for this. However,
you saw all the...
that's what... Thank you, Mike. Yes. Go on.
You saw all the things that Japan is doing with all the Barbie Oppenheimer stuff, have you?
Yes, and what I find to be hilarious is that that's part of the reason why I put it back up, because I feel like
we got
now
some
that
cover.
It's out in the open, like everyone's like, yeah, we like 9/11 memes, like whatever. It's been 20 years. Everyone is just like I wouldn't get in that much trouble for it. You know what I mean? It's been, plus Twitter's going to pay my legal fees now. Didn't you guys see that?
That's true, yeah.
So, we'll see how far that lasts.
Thanks,
he also
Elon.
said he was going to end world hunger, because that would be cheaper, but whatever.
He's also cage fighting Mark Zuckerberg.
I really hope that does happen.
And did you see what he said? He said he doesn't have time to work out, so he just brings his weights to the office. I'm like, bro, that right there was said by somebody who's never stepped into a gym before. Yep. Ever.
Yeah.
So,
I just picture those the 12.5 pound weights.
Yeah, and all those fucking smooth brain idiots that follow him were just like, yeah, see, he's working out and working at the same time. It's like, he's not going to be able to do either effectively, and you can see the evidence of that. Anyway,
that is peak efficiency. That man just knows what to do.
He's a specimen.
Galaxy brain Elon.
Yeah. So PAX was taken out by Lensta, who was in turn defeated in the second round. PAX, for his part, continued showing off his skill in the losers bracket before getting
the only thing
eliminated
he's showing off
in the fourth round. The corner to corner event organizers commended the situation on August 1st. Oh, I'm sorry. Commented on the situation. This is written like shit. Commented the situation on August 1st, saying the nude mod was, quote, accidentally left on for a few seconds. My guy, that was over a minute. Calling it a mistake that will never happen again. I don't believe you. Corner to Corner wish to address a recent mistake made on stream in which a graphical mod was accidentally left on for a few seconds in our recent tournament. Some news stories have incorrectly blamed one of the players. This is not the case. It was our host PC streaming the match and his responsibility. The group also asked folks not to blame the players who competed in the tournament. So imagine you're this up and coming competitive player. You're like, I'm going to a tournament. It's going to be streamed. Everybody, your family and friends are watching. Your mom doesn't get it, but she's like, all right, I'll bring it up on my phone.
I'll tell your grandparents. They'll love this.
Exactly.
They'll tune in.
Your nephew that really looks up to you.
Yep.
You know, he pulled it up, and it's like, yo, he's fucking nuts with Chun-Li, and that skin he's got is wild. Can't we wait? And like they're amping up his fucking all his creds and everything, and just you see that start, and there's just Chun-Li's tits and ass just bouncing the entire. Like, what do you even? Did he try? Like, could you try? I wish I could pull it up, but I can't because
We'll put it on the Instagram.
But he what's it called? It didn't look like they were ready to fight. It didn't look like they were immediately going into battle.
It's just like
yeah. What's happened?
Fucking SpongeBob.
Can you imagine being
I
like,
can explain.
Like, here's the thing: Street Fighter's not like a simple game. It's not like easy, you know. It's button mash and it's combos. It's all that shit. Can you imagine being that horned up that you like? I just gotta beat people up with a naked woman.
Whatever gets you through the day, Mike.
I will say that is always really weird. Like, listen, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna sit here and talk shit about what people get off to, whatever their kinks are. But it is fucking weird if you're like, I need to nude mod this character in a video game for more than just a crude Rule 34 joke. You know what I mean? Like, if you're like, if you do the joke and you're like, I think I'm going to keep it like this, I'm going to be like, now this is a problem. Like,
it's not even like Skyrim where you can like do shit like with these weird mods. It's just like, you're just punching people.
It's not even like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas where you could download the hot coffee mod and fuck your date afterwards.
That's news to me.
You've never seen that?
No.
Oh my god, dude. What it was like that was the reason to get that game at a certain point. It was like there was quick time events and now it's Baldur's Gate 3 and you don't gotta mod anything. So
yeah.
All right. So you guys want to talk about some Marvel casting?
I guess
so, yeah.
Fantastic.
I realized when I was saying the question, I was like, I'm not going to get the response from this I expect to, so, but I'm gonna commit. So
no, Burke, Mike gave you a very good response. I think everybody just missed it.
What am I
That's
saying?
Fantastic.
Thank you, Mike. Yes, that was
Comedy.
perfect.
And
all right.
And then we actually had to say that again.
Don't say it again. It was stupid. Go home. No, anyway, so Jeff Snyder, who he has a YouTube
Zach's
show
brother.
called Hot Mike, right? And he has reliably leaked scoops before. He produces his own reviews, which although I don't agree with a lot of them, he does at least give a valid criticism. You know what I mean? Like he
like
at least,
well thought out.
Yeah, he puts his best foot forward.
Yeah.
His tweets kind of come off a little loudmouthy, but I'm sure mine do too.
Yes.
So
yes, they do.
You're like, yes to both.
So anyway, so what he told everyone is that number one, Vanessa Kirby is officially Sue Storm, which great choice.
Great
I think it's a
casting.
great choice. You know, she's previously from the Hobbs and Shaw franchise. She was just in the newest Mission Impossible.
And
she
the
was
one
in the
before
that,
that.
and I'm sure she'll be in the ones going forward.
She's one of the best parts too. She's really
Yes,
compelling
fantastic.
actress.
And what I really like is that she's playing a villain in those
Yeah.
movies, and in this one she's going to be playing the hero type. Are they going to keep her British though?
I doubt it.
I can't.
They're so
She's from New York.
They're so American. Yeah, they were like the whole.
Yeah.
It's very core to their story that they're New Yorkers.
Yeah. So then we found out that Joseph Quinn, famous for recording Chrissy Wake Up. I don't like this.
I don't like this.
He is
Forgot about that song.
he's confirmed to be playing
That's not
Johnny
confirmed,
Storm.
as far as what I've heard.
Joseph no. Jack Quaid wasn't confirmed.
I've heard that it's
Jack Quaid said
rumored
nah.
between Jack Quaid and Joseph Quinn, but
No.
neither has been decided.
They came out and said Jack Quaid is not Johnny Storm.
I would like to see that.
But what we do know is that Jack Quaid is in the movie, and we don't know. And there is some
How
speculation.
old is Jack Quaid, Liz? Can you look up how old Jack Quaid is, or Pat can do it?
He's 31.
He's a little young to be Mr. Fantastic.
I don't think he is.
Yeah, I don't think he would be.
But right now, we do know that Joseph Quinn is Johnny Storm. We know that for certain.
The Vanessa Kirby casting, I think, is perfect. Joseph Quinn, I'm not 100% sold on it. I really like him as an actor, but I'm not 100% sold on it yet.
Picture him on fire all the time. Is it working?
That'll do it. I don't know. I don't know him too much for like his other like things, so I'm not sure. I can't make a good call.
So then we have The Thing. No casting has been made yet. However, they did. Marvel said they were looking for, quote, a fat white guy, which like
what
1,000 Jack Black lookalikes just were like, my time has come. Like,
I mean, we've heard Seth Rogen's name getting tossed around a lot. I think he's too old, but I think he would be. I wouldn't hate it. He's just too old at this point.
I would rather them cast somebody, a no name.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you're just going to see Seth Rogen. Although, did you watch The Fabelmans?
No.
He did a really good job of not being Seth Rogen, but still the whole time I was like, that's Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen, yeah.
Anyway, he didn't do the laugh or the voice or anything.
So here's where Jack Quaid comes into the picture. Possibly Silver Surfer.
I don't see that for him either.
So I could totally see that for him.
Yeah, that's what he's throwing around. And it's right in that age. He's got the right body type for it. He's got the right, what's it called? I feel like he's got the right attitude that Silver Surfer would have. You know, you've seen a couple other movies
pretentious.
Yeah. He's the herald.
Preppy.
He's the herald of Galactus. Like, you know what I mean? So
I just feel like it's a underutilization of him. He's so charismatic.
I mean, well, we don't know what capacity they're going to use Silver Surfer in, though. So
right.
But I think he could have like a lot of gravitas with it, though.
I agree with that.
I don't think he's got the gravitas.
I'll say this: there's one thing that Marvel has, like with a 98 percentile, like always knocking it out of the park, and it's casting.
Yeah.
So
I've heard Keanu thrown around for Silver Surfer, which I think. Like his performance in the Day the Earth Stood Still reboot.
Yeah.
If he did something like that as Silver Surfer, I think that would be more you get like the elder statesman type actor.
Yeah.
You don't get fresh faced Jack Quaid.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that the way, like, are you basing your thoughts on Silver Surfer off of that second Fantastic Four movie?
I mean,
he's
just
all like stoic and
my
Lawrence Fishburne.
So
and everything.
my exposure to him is more in the cinematic stuff. I haven't read the comics,
Yeah.
so you may be right about that.
He's not as stoic,
but still gravitas.
Yeah,
and I just don't see that from Jack Quaid.
I don't know. He's been offered so many Marvel roles, and he's turned down basically all of
you're
them.
Talking
I wonder
about
if the Silver
Keanu?
Surfer. Yeah. I wonder if the Silver Surfer would be the one that he would be like.
No,
that would work.
Mike, I completely agree with you. I was just going to say to Nick, I was like, well, we can't really trust the Keanu rumor at this point. If they're saying they're offering him something in every movie, it's just like he wants Ghost Rider. Give him Ghost Rider. Like that's what he wants. He said that's what he wants. And they won't give like, dude, he could ride his own
Norman Reedus, I know he was kind of petitioning for that, which I think would be that wouldn't be a bad fit.
It would be, I wouldn't want him to be the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider. He could be some other Ghost Rider. So then the other thing is that officially confirmed Galactus is the villain of the Fantastic Four movie.
When was that confirmed?
That was confirmed also on this hot mic too.
I didn't hear anything about that either.
So Galactus, if you guys don't know, is he eats worlds, like, and he wasn't a cloud in the comics as they portrayed him in Rise of the Silver Surfer. He's
got a big purple pitchfork on his head.
Purple pitchfork, that's right. And he is, I believe he's a Celestial.
Yes.
I think so.
He's a big fucking guy. And the way that Reed Richards originally defeated him, which is, I hope they bring this into the movie.
He found the exhaust port in the back of Galactus's suit, and he shot a laser beam up in there.
It was his asshole.
It was no bigger than rats. Oh, I didn't know that they did this. Okay, I just did this on accident. But anyway, yeah. So that's what he looks like. He's got a cool. I think he's got a cool look to him. I just don't know, like, is it going to be World Eater Galactus? Or are they doing something where it's the Galactus before this Galactus? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think
Galactus Prime.
I don't think it's worth wasting Galactus on one movie.
Well, here's why I don't think Galactus is a good idea, personally.
He's too big.
He's too big. It's how you're gonna frame him up in camera. So we don't know what's going on right now with Jonathan Majors, with what the fuck is his character's name?
Kang.
Oh yeah, Kang. I hope they pivot and they get a different actor, but also they could pivot and make him the big bad.
Oh,
and make Galactus.
Absolutely not pivoting, my friend.
Well, yeah, because he's in season
trailer,
2 of Loki, which
that's true.
That'll be interesting. But whether or not they get a new actor after Loki, or I don't know what's going to happen. But Galactus is, I think, you save him as a big bad.
Yes,
you don't make him the Fantastic Four's first outing.
This is also the
why would you do that?
This is also the third big face villain in the MCU. You know, Dormammu, Arishem, and Galactus. It's like, is one of them going to eat the planet or not?
Yeah.
Like, what's going to happen?
No.
So.
Confirmed.
No one's eating my planet.
And no one's eating the planet.
So
Mike confirmed as Johnny Blaze.
Now I could see Galactus going on for one movie in the sense that they set him up, and they introduce the weapon that Reed used to defeat Galactus the first time that they met.
Proton torpedo.
Tiki torches. Anyway, so what happened was, I believe Reed went to the Watchers, and the Watchers told him that they couldn't intervene, but for this one time they will, or whatever.
Oh, anyway, you mean like they did in the Marvel What If series?
Yeah. And
they do all the time.
That's kind of their thing, you know. So
they have no principles.
So then Reed comes into the possession of this weapon called the Ultimate Nullifier, and it would destroy Galactus.
It destroys canon events.
But it would destroy like entire sections of the universe, like stuff that Galactus would use to feed on. So it would kill, like, either way, it's one of those things where like Galactus ends up retreating from our, so he's like still out there type of thing. But they never actually killed him.
He's got no food, so he's like, I'm hungry. I gotta go.
Food. So anyway, the only last thing I gotta say about Galactus is that Big Screen Leaks said an offer was made to, quote, a big name actor in April, but he has heard nothing back since.
Antonio Banderas? I've been hearing his name tossed around for months for Galactus.
Probably not.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's not a bad choice. I don't hate that. However, I mean,
I think he would do his same normal accent.
Yes. I think they should just go with the catch-all, just Javier Bardem, the ultimate, the ultimate scary guy. You know, give him a bowl cut and you're fucking dead, bro.
Honestly.
Okay, so then here's one name I haven't heard tossed around yet, and I think it's more important that they get this character right than Galactus, because you're right, Galactus can be used can be used as a big bad.
Now,
this guy
who you're about to say
has to be a big bad.
Makes way more sense.
It makes way more sense to introduce him as the villain in this movie and then have him become, like, remember how Loki was the villain in Thor, and then he's a big guy in Avengers?
Yes.
I feel like that's what they should do here. Dr. Doom hasn't been mentioned yet, but I would be very surprised if at the very least Victor Von Doom didn't show up.
You gotta.
Not Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
It would be such a waste.
They all get their powers at the same time, right? Like they all are in that spaceship. That's how it works.
Was Doom, I don't think
in the last two incarnations of of the
canonically
Fantastic,
in the comic books.
Well, that's what, there's been so many reboots and retcons at this point with this. The thing that they have to get consistent about Doom is that he's friends with Reed and he's dating Sue, because that's their love triangle.
He's frenemies with Reed Richards.
And the second thing is that they all have to get their powers at the same time. So so he has to be there, right? Like,
and they're supposed to go to school together, so he's around the same age.
And also he's eventually supposed to become the leader of Latveria.
That's what I want to see.
I want to see.
That's the story.
Yeah.
Like all the Sony movies that are about, like, they have their villain verse. This would be the one to do, like a political leader, and rather than like, oh, fucking Aaron Taylor Johnson gets a drop of tiger's blood.
Yeah, and it sucks because I'm sure Captain America and Iron Man are coming back in Secret Wars in some fashion or another, or the Kang Dynasty, right? But the thing is like, I don't want them to cheapen it, but I'd love for them to get Captain America to talk with Dr. Doom at least once, because the thing that's so compelling about the two of theirs relationship is that Dr. Doom actually respects the fuck out of Captain America for this reason and this reason alone. because he's a man about his country. I was like, dude, get the fuck out of here. Like,
they're both nationalists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ultra nationalist Dr. Doom.
I'm trying to find our fan casting for Fantastic Four from whatever 2 years ago.
They'll probably. I'm guessing that if they're gonna have Galactus as the main villain, they're probably gonna include Victor Von Doom in some like part of this, and that'll probably be like the post-credit scene that he's actually becoming.
Yeah, it's
Dr.
something
Doom.
like that. Like you can't just throw Dr. Doom in as like he's got to be another big bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rami Malek is my choice
for Dr.
Doom. For Victor Von Doom. How old is Rami Malek right now? Is he around 35? That sounds about right to me.
42.
Holy shit. No fucking way.
42's
Mr. Robot?
Freddie Mercury?
All this time. All right.
What if they just brought James Franco back and had him play Dr. Doom?
Where are they bringing him back from?
As in like the Green Goblin kind of like,
okay. I mean,
from jail.
To be fair, Dr. Doom doesn't really fly around on anything. He just kind of stands,
rolls with an iron fist.
Yeah, he rolls with an iron fist.
I mean, it will also be interesting. I mean, with everything going on with like Russia and Ukraine, to make your central, maybe not antagonist, but an antagonist in the universe, the ruler of a fucking European country, that you could do some social commentary in there. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and here's what I don't need. Actually, if Deadpool does this, it's fine. Every other character is not allowed to laugh when Victor Von Doom is just
says his name.
Yeah, when Dr. Doom is just like, I am Doom. Like no one's allowed to go, oh, is that really his name? Audience, let's
that's the thing. It's
he just said that.
Didn't we did that bit in Spider-Man?
Did that just happen?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, the last bit of casting news for the Fantastic Four that I would like to share with everybody is for Reed Richards. So, Marvel is not finished with Adam Driver yet, according to many sources. That he is the #1 choice for them. He's not the first high-profile actor of this size to turn them down, but he's not turning it down because he doesn't think he's right for the role. He's turning it down because apparently he said that he can't connect to the character. And he is afraid that if he can't connect to the character, that the audiences won't.
Yeah.
So they're not done yet, though. Matt Smith is up. And
I think he'd be an interesting choice.
And then there's somebody else, too. But I mean, like, they're going back and even making script changes for Adam Driver because they want him so bad. And not only do they want him badly, they're going to use the fuck out of him for the,
To me, I think you run into the issue of he's too high profile. I think Vanessa Kirby is the perfect level of, we know who she is, but she hasn't really done anything that just has defined her career yet.
Yeah.
And I think you would want to do the same thing for Reed Richards. It's fine. Yeah. I think if your villain is a big name, because the movie's not about them. That being said, I also heard rumor, I don't know if you ever watched Nando V Movies, but I get a lot of my movie news from him. And he was saying that they're talking about making the Fantastic Four movie, making Sue the main character.
Yeah, like it's her perspective.
Right, which I think is a great idea because she's the one that always gets ignored in the previous movies.
Yeah, and they waited for what's her name to sign on, and then they added the strip scenes. So like
Jessica Alba.
Yeah, so they were always kind of a bunch of pigs putting together.
Yeah, so I think that's a good way to kind of refocus this movie and like because it's always about Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So. You don't need a big name actor in that role.
Ultimately, I would like it to be, maybe it's from her perspective, like how she views the world and how she sees these things. But I mean more in line with like, I still want the rest of the ensemble to be full-fledged characters. You know what I mean? I still want
Oh, for sure. I mean, it is an ensemble movie.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, that's your viewpoint character is Sue Storm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw people were thinking Penn Badgley. The guy from You as
I I'm always just like
Richards?
concerned about age. Not that that's the end all be all, but because they all grew up together.
Because time is never ending and it continues to go on. I don't think Reed and Sue grew up together.
Right? Didn't they all go to school together?
No. He meets her. I'm pretty sure he meets her.
Well, how old is Penn Badgley
then? The Baxter building.
He's 36.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I guess maybe you want him to be a little bit older. Vanessa Kirby, I think, is around 35. Joseph Quinn is like 31.
Yeah.
And then you want Reed Richards and
Dr. Doom,
Bruce Grimm to be about the same age.
Oh, yeah.
No, not Ben Grimm, not Bruce Grimm.
Bruce Grimm.
Bruce Grimm. How about Bruce Campbell as Ben Grimm?
Okay. All right, yeah, so that's all the stuff we have for the Fantastic Four casting news. Listen, I just hope that they are taking their time to get this right. The problem, and here's the thing, this is fucking agonizing. I don't want to hear about every step of production in Superman, in Fantastic Four, Deadpool, or most importantly, we're going to have to do all this shit again in like fucking 2 years when the X-Men casting start. Like,
yeah,
like,
but that's what they want. They want us.
I know they want to drum up the hype and everything, but it's just one of those things where like somebody finally made a point of just like, why am I hearing about every step of production with Superman Legacy? Why am I hearing about when the first draft is done, when the final draft is done, how now they cast everybody? Am I going to hear what the fucking hairdressers are getting paid? Like, what's happening?
Nice.
Like, so
they just want that shit in the news cycle.
Yeah.
Like, they just need to find a way to keep it alive.
It's also become a cottage industry for like us, people like us, to be talking about this shit. So
anyway, don't compare me to Cottage. Anyway, Wonder Woman 3 is in development, surprisingly, with Gal Gadot. And
who would have thought?
Dude, there's a whole fucking debate on how you say her name, and she's said it 2 different times.
It's pronounced Kal-El.
Anyway, so Gal has confirmed on her Twitter that she, James Gunn, and Peter Safran are developing a, quote, Wonder Woman 3 together. I don't think it's actually going to be Wonder Woman 3. I think it's going to be
a third Wonder Woman,
a requel of sorts, like the Incredible Hulk was in that. But they're, you know what I mean, and they're going to do it in the style that they're choosing for this DCU. Good. And they're going to fit it in that canon because, listen, their whole thing with James Gunn said in that video is that he said he wants to keep the things that work and get rid of the things that don't. The Batman series they're keeping, obviously, because it worked. The Joker movies they're keeping.
But as in separately.
Yeah, elsewhere, because it worked. Wonder Woman, though, is one of the first Wonder Woman movie. Like is one of those comic book movies. It's one of like debatably it's up there with like the upper echelon of comic book movies, and it made fuck tons of money. And the one thing everybody talked about loving was her. Even when you watch the second movie, you're like, yeah, this movie's ass, but you know she's at least good as Wonder Woman.
She was born to play that part for sure. I mean, the same way that Henry Cavill was born to play Superman, he was just handed hot garbage.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Mike, please don't kill yourself.
So with her, I feel like they can still wring some dollars out of that. So they're just going to move that right along.
Well, you and I talked about this, but they say they're working on new Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot is working on it. Doesn't say that it means that she's going to star in it. So I'm wondering if there's a possibility that maybe she now becomes like a writer producer somehow in the series and somebody else takes up the mantle, or she becomes like, you know, elder stateswoman of the franchise and passes the mantle down or something. You know what I mean?
I can see that happening, but I can see that happening in like 5 to 10 years.
Yeah,
I don't see that. That is her bread and butter, and she is in her prime right now. I was going to say for the same thing. Second she even took a meeting without it being an absolute certainty that she is playing Wonder Woman. Like, there's no way.
But for me, it always comes back to, for me, there's the stink of the Snyderverse, and I don't care how good she is. I'm always going to think back to Wonder Woman 76 or whatever, 84. Yeah.
Well, that's why I think that they've put her in, like, where she had the cameo in Shazam and she had the cameo in The Flash. They gave us like the last little drips and drops of the Snyderverse Wonder Woman, and now that like there's probably going to be like, okay, you got your fill. That's her. That's the done part. Yeah. This is the new version of her.
It certainly felt like this weird thing where like when you see those cameos of her in those movies, it's like they have reduced her entire character from being one of the staples of this franchise to being nothing but fucking cameo material, like for closing out their cinematic universe. And what I also find to be hilarious is that not only did The Rock get bounced back into Fast and Furious because his DC movie sucked, at the end of the new Fast and Furious movie, spoilers, Gal Gadot gets bounced in there too, and they bring her character back from the dead so she could have a paycheck. So, like, it was one of those things where this was going the wrong way. But the fact that when you think about it upon retrospect, is like everything after Shazam coming out is all in James Gunn's hands. They cut the Superman cameo out of it. They cut everything with Henry Cavill that they could, right? Mm-hmm. They kept Gal, though, and all of that. And now I'm thinking is that, like, were they keeping her specifically to remind you that, like, this is Wonder Woman and we're keeping her? And do you guys remember, though?
What about Batman the Flash? And they just released that movie.
Well, I mean, Nick, we know why they can't keep Ezra Miller as the Flash. It's because he's a criminal.
Right.
Is number one.
But they could have pulled a Batgirl and just said, into the dumpster fire.
Wait. Did you not hear about the postmortem of Flash, like what WB's expectations were?
Oh, they really thought I was going to go gangbusters?
Opening as big as The Dark Knight. Expectations hadn't been that high since The Dark Knight.
I know that's what they were saying publicly, but behind closed doors, did they really expect that?
That's the only way. If they
this
were
was not
like,
a public thing.
All that money.
This was not. You're absolutely right, Nick, Mike. This was not a public thing. This was something that was said in meetings leading up to the release.
That's just absurd.
Plus there's no way they were writing off $300 million. No U.S. government's gonna be like, you made a $300 million mistake. Sub 100. Well, the other way.
Yes, they did. Now they can.
And the other thing I'm thinking about now is that James Gunn said that he spoke to her when the DC, like, the new heads took over. Like, they took a meeting with her, right? And then she did that tweet about how no matter who is writing or directing it, basically, or where she goes, she will always be Wonder Woman, right? Now everyone thought that meant, like, okay, she's
in our hearts and minds.
She's number one. Like, of course, like, you always go back to number one, right? But no, I think she meant that literally. I think she meant, like, hey, Patty, it was great, but I got, like, I'm out. My money bag is going that way. So you have fun with Star Wars. If that's even the thing, I'm going over here. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? I'm sure that was a rough phone call,
Hey, it's business.
Yeah. It's show business, not show friends.
It's not personal. It's business.
Okay. And with that, so, it's what's it called? It's just, I'm excited to see that she's still going to be a part of it. What capacity? Maybe a mantle change. Who knows? We'll see. Don't bring Kristen Wiig back. That was a mistake.
That's not on her. That's just like a poorly written character.
I
mean, that's the whole thing. I don't want to go any further in this conversation, but I do think it's worth saying the Snyderverse was a failure from the production side, not from the performance side.
Yeah. It was not valid. It was not a good thing.
They had some incredible actors and just drove them into the ground.
So I realized that we have an Invincible season 2 trailer thing here on the script.
We look forward to it.
We look forward to it. I haven't seen it. The only thing that I have of note to add is that the possibility of Spider-Man being in this season of Invincible is absolutely through the roof. Mike and I talked about this last time he was here. We didn't do it for the show, though, but I'll just fill you in real quick. So Sony's like, well, we're not doing a streaming service because we're smart. So we're just going to license all of our movies to Netflix and Amazon. Their Spider-Man movies are currently on Amazon. So remember how I was talking about how now you can do like watch parties with your Twitch Prime subscribers and everything, and you guys can all do Amazon, a watch along and watch Spider-Man or something together. Part of the contract was not only does Amazon have to make Spider-Man cartoons out of the villains and like TV shows and stuff. God. Amazon said, all right, well, we can't make a Spider-Man TV show, but we reserve the right to use Spider-Man in a TV show. And Sony was like, all right, we're cool with that. Fuck it. And
And does
there is
Marvel
precedent.
have anything to do with this?
Marvel has no say in this because Sony owns the media rights.
But I wasn't sure if maybe there was some based on their new whatever.
I know. Yeah, I get what
their incestuous relationship was.
Well, but either way, all this basically came out on the watches list. There's precedent for this because there have been comic book crossovers between Invincible and Spider-Man, and actually one of those storylines was really compelling. And this season kind of sets up some of those things. So it's one of the it's I'm just saying it's not, nothing is confirmed, it's just a rumor, but I mean, like, if there was any rumor that's true that's coming out around this show, it's probably this one.
No, do we think we get...
Josh Keaton is also in the voice cast.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's
Spider-Man.
Who's Josh Keaton?
He's played Spider-Man's voice for the last 10 years.
Yeah. There's Josh Keaton. There's Tim Robinson. There's Peter Cullen.
Tim
there's
Robinson.
Jay Farrow.
Peter Cullen.
I thought you meant. I thought you were saying Tim Robinson voiced Spider-Man in the past, and I was like,
no,
what?
No, in this, yeah.
Optimus Prime.
There's a lot of really,
this,
cool. Paul F. Tompkins, Rob Delaney.
I love Paul F. Tompkins.
But Josh Keaton's in the cast, and he played. You remember Spider-Verse when that one random cartoon Spider-Man said something, and all the Spider-Men were there? He's like obviously 2D.
Yeah.
Spectacular Spider-Man. That's him. That's Josh Keaton because he's the that's like the fan favorite cartoon or whatever. So yeah, we're gonna watch this because it's probably gonna be good. The first season was great. So all right,
comes out November 3rd.
JK's back.
Good. I'm glad.
Of course.
Omni-Man will also be in Mortal Kombat. Anyway.
Ooh. Will there be a nude mod?
A big slinging dick, just
massive
gutters and just a third leg. It's like a rat tail just on the wrong side. Anyway.
Oh my God.
Girl.
So with that, we saw Talk to Me this week. It's our main topic for this week. We're gonna start with non-spoilers as per usual, and then we're gonna go into some spoilerific stuff.
Then we're gonna open the door. Oh, that's really fucking hot. We're gonna open the door to spoilers.
That's what you get for fucking around.
Maybe they shouldn't make a fucking candle out of a candle holder out of metal. That should be glass or ceramic. Why the fuck is it metal?
Both of those get hot still, you know.
It's for it's for the motherfuckers that go hard, all right?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, for those of you who are only listening, I held up a candle and burned my fingertips.
Now he's got no fingerprints for the next 2 weeks.
Yes.
So he's going to go commit a string of crimes.
Yeah.
Okay? And he's going to give away PlayStations. Anyway, so we saw Talk to Me this week, and we took a week off last week because it was just a barrage of movies
and ice cream cones
since from May all the way to end of June. So everybody took a Santa Claus.
Everybody took a Santa Claus.
And then we were like, well, what are we gonna do this week? And I remember we talked about I said it a couple times. And we're gonna do that next week.
You didn't even say what we talked about.
I don't want to say it again.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
We're gonna do something cool next week.
It's a good one.
See, we're in non-spoilers. You can't ruin it.
13 cool things are happening next week.
Oh. So, 13 reasons why you need to watch next week's episode.
So
and not kill yourself.
I put it all on little tapes. They're really inconvenient to listen to. This technology absolutely is not accessible in 2018, but we're going to pretend it is because it's dramatic.
Go get it from Urban Outfitters.
Yeah.
This conversation is my 13th reason.
It costs $600.
Yeah, Liz.
All right. Anyway, so we took the week off, and there was a bunch of movies that came out this week. I mean, like, holy shit. The Meg came out this week, Meg 2, The Trench.
The Meganing.
Yeah, the Meganing.
This is just Aquaman.
Yes.
This is what it is.
TMNT came out, and
Haunted Mansion,
and then Talk to Me came out. And so, believe it or not, I was like, man, there's too much to see right now. Like, I don't know if I can make it. And then I saw our old engineer Jess Rossi tweeted that she saw Talk to Me, and she said that she fucking loved it, and she ended up seeing it twice.
Wow.
I was like, all right, well, that's a fucking endorsement if I've ever heard one. So I decided to go check it out. and we saw it on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
And for about a full hour, I thought we were seeing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because he goes, there's a 5:15 showing. And I was like, oh, okay, great. Do you want to get these seats? And he goes, oh, I got your ticket through AMC's Entourage thing. And I was like, okay,
you can
great.
Bundle all your A-list friends together and you can all get tickets together now.
Nice.
So it turns out that there was a 5:15 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Talk to Me. So I was about to buy a ticket for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and he was buying a ticket for Talk to Me.
She said, should I get G, 9, and 10? And I said, oh, I already got 8 and 9 because I was buying the same seats just for a different show. So
Liz is an hour into Talk to Me and she's like,
where are the turtles?
Turtles come out?
I was promised turtles.
I like turtles.
And it's animated?
And it's animated. All right, so did you guys watch this at home or?
I wound up going to the theater last night. Okay. After all, I wasn't gonna do it.
Oh, by the way, Liz saw your text that you sent me when I was drinking a beer. She said, "I just saw your your wrist light up."
And it said, "You're no help."
Nick Haverstro, you're no help.
Yeah, I was asking Pat. I was like, "Is it worth going to see in theaters, or should I watch it at home?" And he's like, "I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Listen,
I got a beer. I don't care."
Yeah, bro.
I was like, "Well, do you think it's worth the trip to the theater?" Because I remember you saying the first half was good, and then the back half you weren't so into, and you're like, "I don't know."
I don't.
I'm glad I went because I fucking thought this was awesome. I thought the whole thing 100 all the way through was incredible.
Yes.
Okay.
I agree with Nick's sentiment.
Mike, what about you? What'd you think?
Honestly, like, I'm not a big horror movie guy, and you guys know that. When we do these, I do them a little bit begrudgingly. This was great. I watched it at home, and I honestly might go see it in the theaters. Just like I might go see it a second time. I was really super surprised. It was the right amount of novelty. It was the right amount of kind of camp. It had the lead actress's performance was unbelievable. She was so good.
You're right. Her performance was outstanding, but I think the whole ensemble cast, they felt so real, like just a bunch of dumb teenagers.
So that and I actually got a message from somebody that read my review, my quick little tweet review that said, agreed. I felt by the time that it got to the end, I just wanted to go home because I said that I feel that this movie flies so fucking high for the first 45 minutes. And I know the exact scene that it makes a turn. I think I called it out when we watched it. The exact scene things start to go awry for me. And here's the thing. It's not even that it's that much worse. It's just such a steep drop from the quality that was bursting at the seams.
Toes?
Yeah, no, it was.
We can talk about this in spoilers because
I'll give you the exact line in spoilers, but I can just tell you it was the first hospital scene, the exact midpoint of the movie where I was just like, oh no, why are the characters saying really stupid shit all of a sudden? No, they were so smart and likable before. What the fuck happened? Like that's.
I get what you're saying.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's the middle. It's like the middle, like the 50 to 75% of the movie.
I would say that
right there.
Yeah,
I would agree
right there, and then the beginning and even the little bit of the end, as shocking and as a good wrap up to the story as it was, I still felt like it was a little cheap.
I was good with it.
I agree with Mike being that there's a little bit of sag in the middle to get us from the setup to the payoff. There were some kind of, they made some decisions that maybe you wouldn't make.
That
but also,
was my problem.
It's like it's an allegory for drug use, and you're not, when you're going through these types of situations.
Would you say that
you're
it was
not gonna
heavy-handed?
No. But when you're in these high stress situations, you're not always going to make the most logical decision. So I give it a break there, but I think that the ending was an interesting spin on the premise.
You and I we're in the same ballpark about how seeing it sag, and you're exactly right. I just think it's on a bigger level. I give it more shit because I thought it was so much. It was fucking wonderful. I was like, oh my God, this is all fresh ideas. The execution's wonderful. Everything's compelling. It's lit well. There's a scene where the ghost doesn't know what the fuck is going on at one point. And I thought that was genius. There's these amazing fucking like attack sequences that happen. And then it hits that halfway point. And then all of a sudden the cliches and the tropes of characters in horror movies start to creep in a bit. And here's the thing, like I said, it's not like it's a movie ruiner, but it was so airtight before that when all the leaks
you were really let down because you were now like, holy shit,
yeah,
this is
I was
game
like,
changing.
this is fucking crazy. Because like, here's the thing, I always equate every horror movie that I see now to the Invisible Man from 2020.
Still haven't seen that.
There's a scene in that movie where shit just absolutely, there's no way that even if everything were fixed and perfect, that those characters' lives could go back to status quo. It's not possible. They will have lifelong trauma from this. This movie did a scene like that and then couldn't keep up with it afterwards.
Yes,
I felt like
100%.
And I feel like it's when it sags, it only bounces back up on just enough to stick the landing that they were going for at the end of Act 3. I'm not saying this is a bad movie, but what I am saying is that it is not the horror summer surprise that I was hoping for. We always get a nice one in August, and I don't think this is it.
I think it's fair to say that maybe there are some flaws, but I do think it was one of the better horror movies I've seen in a long time. That it kept me. I think they did a really great job of making you care about the characters right off the bat. They were very likable, and you didn't want shit to happen. And I was constantly worried about them, and it was tense. And this is one of the few times I've been in a theater where I actually did like kind of cover up my eyes at parts,
which is weird because I feel like this movie had a big lack of like actual.
It wasn't
like,
gratuitous except for that. Well, that's the thing; it doesn't rely on jump scares. But it's gross in a lot of ways, and it's gross. It's spooky. And then that one scene is just like
brutal.
The allusion to brutality and visceral gore. It doesn't do it, but it alludes to it. There's one shot where it's incredibly gross.
Yeah, and even then there was also some scenes of like, I mean, like, listen, I don't fault this movie for its scares. It's tense in lots of moments. I just felt like the first 45 minutes was a drama disguised as a horror film, and I was really into the characters and their struggles and their trauma. And then I just feel like the second half happens, and all of a sudden, it just, instead of focusing on drama, we shift our focus to the horror movie elements a little bit more. And I just feel like you saw more of like. You saw more of the production. You know what I mean? You saw the seams a little bit more, and then when it melds the two at the end, you know, I felt like the elements were so strong in the first half that when they think I don't know, it's just that one little bit. It's just like, what happened?
I think a big part of it is that, like you said, the first part is so airtight. It's so good. It's so great. And when they establish shit going wrong, I think they should have continued to devolve and just kept the pace and kept the speed, because I wanted it to feel like The Shining, where like once you're in on what's going on and you know the premise of shit, then it just, like, you know, it's a train ride and you know that it's just gonna crash.
Yeah, and it's like I completely agree, but my whole thing isn't really a pacing issue. It's the characters start saying and doing dumb shit when they didn't say or do dumb shit the entire movie.
I can
elaborate more on that in spoilers, because I have two very significant examples, and I felt like they were super like that shit that you see in fucking like C-tier horror movies that were made for 27 cents and a nickel on
a nickel
on so 32 cents on Netflix in like 2013. I feel like
everything so
was
harsh,
way stronger in the beginning.
Do we want to move on to spoilers? I have like one thing that I want to say as far as like comparing this to other horror movies. And I think we should, you know, go through our scores.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about it and what I would compare this to kind of stylistically is like It Follows. In the execution of the horror, it feels like Oculus, and as far as the themes, it feels like the Babadook. So it's got like a lot of it not borrowing from, but learning from these other really good and interesting and different horror movies.
It's funny that you bring up the Babadook. They produced that.
Okay, there you go. So overall, I want to give this like an 8.5 or a 9. I thought it was incredibly well done.
Yeah, for me, I'm still at a 7.5. I think, like I said, I think it's so refreshing and fucking new and exciting in the first. They had us in the first half, and then the middle section just kind of just devolved into just regular horror cliches and like inconvenient. I know a lot of people complain about convenient writing. I'm complaining about inconvenient writing in this moment. And then the third act is very gripping, and it melds the themes and the actions of the characters together well. But I wasn't as sold at that point. I was just like, come on, let's get to the end. Liz, what about you?
I really enjoyed this movie, like a lot. I thought this. I don't know if this is as good as all of the horror movies we saw like last August.
It's that time of year, baby.
Yeah. So last August we also got Smile and Barbarian, which I did.
Smile was not until like September, October.
Oh, really? It was that late in the year?
It wasn't December. It was like September or October because it was after American Idiot was done.
What did we? Okay, so
we saw Barbarian.
Actually, Smile's a really good one to compare this to as well.
That's how I felt watching it, but I felt way more tense in Smile than I did.
Agreed.
So Smile. Barbarian, Nope.
That's what.
And there was a fifth one
that we saw.
We did like 5 in a row.
Smile, Barbarian, Nope. That would be 4, right?
Yeah, but there is a fifth one. I'm saying Smile, Barbarian, Nope.
Number 4. And there's also a fifth.
Hold on, I'll tell you.
I'm literally opening up my AMC app.
I think just real quick, Smile. I think that, like you were saying, it's way more tense. That has more of the runaway train aspect that Mike is talking about. Whereas, like, I don't think this fails for not having that. It's just doing a different thing.
Pearl.
Totally.
Pearl,
Pearl.
And X. There's your 4 and 5.
Okay, so...
I think it went Nope, Pearl, Barbarian, Smile. And then what the fuck was the other one?
Liz.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. So, comparing it to those, I think it's just...
Scream.
I didn't see that, so it's just as good.
You're fine.
So I really like the Scream franchise. Thank you, Mike. I'm gonna give it an 8.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm okay with it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fresh. I thought it was some fun stuff going on.
It was also funny too.
Yeah, no, there were some good jokes. Honestly, can I tell you one of the selling points of this?
I don't think it's like comedy, but it's funny.
No, there's funny
characters
moments.
are compelling. Yeah.
One of the big selling points to me is that they're Australian. I don't know why. I'm just like, hey.
Nar!
And there's a kangaroo.
Yes, they're okay. That was really sad part, but like, you know what? I'm really glad these aren't stupid American teenagers running around.
Such a strange allegory to use.
I think it's great. Mike, what do you think?
Ahead. Yeah, I think I'm going to sit with it with an 8. I really liked it too. I felt it was a cool take on elevated horror. It felt like a lot of Nope and kind of like Jordan Peele type films, but it also felt like just like it's cool to see horror not doing really stereotypical classic horror tropes. And it's kind of like, oh, there's a cursed, hand is the trope, but the way that it incorporates loss and grief and addiction, all of those really is a nice red thread. But I do agree with Pat where it's like it is riding super, super high, and then there's a dip, and then I don't think it bounces back up to the height that it was at in the first half.
And like Mike, to ride off what you're saying, it just made me think about, look, wait, did you guys see Evil Dead Rise?
Not yet, no.
I don't think Evil Dead Rise did a single thing that was brand new in that entire movie, but it did what it did so well, like that it just didn't care if you cared about the logistics of the characters or like, but it still had that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it has like,
like you watch that trailer and it looks like we've seen this story 1,000 times, but it just looked so fucking good.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I need to see this movie.
It was really good, and there's a borderline Oscar-worthy performance in it, and it has a legendary opening title card sequence. It's insane. So,
real quick, I just wanted to go back to Mike said this is a different take on elevated horror, and I saw one reviewer kind of say something that I think is interesting. While it does lean into the elevated horror, it's got like themes of loss and drug use and all that stuff. It's not heavy-handed like a lot of these other movies are. It is an easy entry point for a casual viewer who likes horror. Anybody can watch this and get something out of it. Not like the rest of A24 where you have to have like a degree to understand what's going on.
Listen, I did watch this entire movie, and not once did I think it was. I would classify this as elevated horror. I
don't classify it as elevated horror. There are elements of it, but I mean, I feel elevated horror sticks predominantly on one metaphor and rides that to death.
You're absolutely correct, but I also feel like elevated horror has like turned into this fucking term where it's like, oh, like if your movie's elevated horror, people immediately assume that it's more intelligent than others. And here's the thing. I think this movie's very intelligent. But just because you execute themes through a certain purview of a story doesn't make it, in this instance, elevated horror.
Yeah.
I didn't think this was elevated horror. Like, Babadook is basically an abstract painting in the form of a film. Yeah. This was not that. All right, so right before spoilers, let's talk some box office.
Oh, the most important feature of any movie, the box office.
This movie was produced for $4.5 million. Last weekend, it made $10 million. This weekend, we're up to $20 million worldwide. It just got an international release this weekend.
Do you know anything about the production?
They're two YouTubers.
They were offered a bigger budget to shoot with an American production company, and they refused the offer because they wanted creative control, and they had actors in Australia that they wanted to use. The American production company would have had them using American actors. And I think it's great that it's a nice low budget indie creators that really pulled off a home run.
I didn't know that, and my selling point was like, they're Australian, and honestly, one of the things I really enjoyed is that we didn't know any of the people. Like, it's not Patrick Wilson. It's not the Farmiga sisters. Like, I'm just like, you know what? Like,
Jared Leto there's no, like, it's always a non-zero chance that Jared Leto might pop up in a movie, but in this one, it's the only 0% chance.
Honestly, if he had, though, I wouldn't have been surprised.
I saw this originally this debuted with a 90-something. It's resting at 94 after 230 reviews. This has gone up significantly. Last time I saw this, before I saw the movie, it was at 71%. Now that word of mouth is good, it's gotten out and people are seeing it and reacting to it. We're up to 80%.
So thank you, Jess Rossi.
Yeah, so shout out to Jess Rossi. Gripping story, impressive practical effects. That's another thing, too. The practical effects were very good. Oof. They're so good, we didn't even mention them. That's how you know they're good.
You're touching me a lot today.
Touch him.
I like when people are in studio, Mike. So, Talk to Me spins a terrifically creepy 21st century horror yarn built on classic foundations, and I couldn't agree more with that synopsis. So let's start spoilers.
Let's talk spoilers.
So,
talk to me about spoilers.
Let's just get going. All right. So number one, when I keep saying the first 45 minutes, the hand shit. When they're like taking hits off the hand, like they're like, oh, we're doing ghosts tonight.
We're ripping bong hits.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that was fucking awesome. I was like, this is awesome. Also, somebody mentioned the cinematography before. You're absolutely correct. This movie is shot wonderfully. It's colorful. It's rich. The blacks are nice and deep, but it's not like things disappear into them. Right. It really plays with your expectations and what you're seeing in those. I like those things too.
The camera tracking to the actor's motion.
Yes.
That's a really cool function in the cinematography.
I love the idea that there's a landmine here, but I like the idea that although it's listen, they're taking a hand and they're talking to ghosts, right? Like, that's the whole thing, is that like, and it gives you like this incredible high, right? But they even went so far as to like even include a belt that you have to like tie off with, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's a good point.
And like, you kind of like, when you get that initial rush, it like takes your breath away, almost like there's really quite a lot of good attention to detail. And I didn't even dude, I'm so fucking lame. I didn't even realize at first that it like, oh, this is like what they meant, like when you go to a party and everyone's passing around a bong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
only smoked weed with like no more than 5 people ever at one time. You know what I mean? So this whole time I was like,
you was always chiefing.
Yeah.
He's chiefing it.
That's a deep cut right there.
I also think it's really worth mentioning I think I kind of touched on this earlier, the relationships between the characters did such wonders. The relationship between Mia and Riley as being like a surrogate older sister, their ride in the car and they're singing together, great. The cliques at the parties and oh, we don't want her here, and like the two people who had the hand, so fucking funny. They were so engaging.
It reminded me a lot of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yeah, it was just like, it was like such a thing one and thing two attitude.
Yeah. The short scheming one and the tall idiot. You know what I mean? Like that's really what it reminded me of. And I love. Okay, so if anyone is like interested in what the lore is on the hand, it is a medium's hand that is embalmed and covered with vinyl, right?
Or a Satanist's hand.
That's true too. There's no, but that's the thing. They don't elaborate on that any further, and like
which you
don't have to, because that's really not the point of the story. It's not like where did the hand come from?
No, but I think that adds to it.
Yeah.
That I thought was the best part of it, that it was accepted as normalcy. Like you didn't have the where is the hand and what is it doing? It's just kind of like, yeah, guys, you touch this hand and you see a ghost, and haha, that's fun.
Yeah, and like that, you know what, Mike? That's absolutely right. There's no skepticism. It's just like kind of this world where it's like, yo, bro, we're doing hand tonight. You in? You know, like,
it's like me and my high school girlfriend. We're doing hand tonight.
Doing hand tonight. Oi, boy, Sam, you ever stuck your dick in that hand?
Fuck, I had something and I lost it. Mike, you just brought the show to a crashing halt.
All right, I'll pick it right back up. Anyway, moving, just still talking about the opening. I like the setup between the characters as well.
How about everybody always being on their phones? I thought that was a great motif, and just
these
like
kids on their damn phones.
Kids on their phones, and the reaction, the interactions that you get when you're talking to somebody who is not paying attention to you on your phone. That I thought was like great writing, because usually when you see a movie, they don't think about how people actually interact. They're just like, what are interesting lines that I can write?
Yeah,
and I really liked that.
I'm also so glad that we didn't get footage of the phones and the people on, like, what would have looked like the Instagram or like the TikTok video that was taken on the phone of that.
Oh, because like doing the movie that from that perspective.
Like that it would have cut to what that looked like.
Yeah,
well,
because I feel like that would have just taken me out of it.
We did get it
9:16, like,
but the movie didn't cut to that.
No, but I
it also wasn't a focal point either.
How like we're introduced to it by like these two girls sitting on the bed, and she's like, I want to go do this. Like, that's like I feel like such a teen experience that like it made a lot of sense for the movie, and then we never saw footage like that again, which was really
good. I can completely relate to the one chick where she was like, where's the party tonight? You know what I mean? Like, she's like, there is no party, mom. Like, there is none. And like, she's like going to the brother and asking and all that shit, and it's just like, there is no party. You're just being paranoid.
Yeah,
I've had multiple conversations with my parents like that, like as a teenager. So I felt that.
And then you pulled out your eye.
Yeah, and then I pulled out my gun. So I guess we should talk about. So they do the hand. Everybody's like, oh my god, it's crazy. But remember, in this particular scene, the first time they're doing the hand, for whatever reason, the ghosts keep calling out Riley.
Yeah,
they keep calling out Riley. They want him. They want him. They want him. And
He's got a pretty mouth.
He's got a pretty mouth, boy. And then they end up having another session at the white chick's house.
Yeah, pull up the characters' names, because I don't. Other than like Mia and Riley, I don't remember anybody's names.
It is. Oh my! Wow, she's not even. Why is she not listed?
Not important. Jade.
That's
Jade's
it.
house.
Yeah, Jade's Riley's older brother.
It's named my cat. Anyway,
tell him.
Let him know. So call them, point them out.
All right, so we're gonna start calling the two people with the hand. They're Thor and Loki.
Yes, Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Joss and Haley.
We're doing cats now.
Okay. Oh, sorry. All right. So then,
And then mom cat was going around the house. And be like, "Where's the party?"
Yeah. So, everybody does the hand. They're having a great time, and then the 15-year-old wants to do the hand. So they're like, no fentanyl for you, buddy. And he's like, but please. And they're like, okay, let's do it. So I don't want to say there's some confusion, but I think it's purposefully ambiguous as to what goes on in this moment. The first thing is that it's like Mia's mom comes through Riley and like starts speaking to him, right? And then they let it go past the 90 seconds, which how would you even test that? Has this happened before?
It's just the lore. You have to accept that.
So from what I understand is there's that kind of setup scene in the very beginning with the two brothers.
Incredible. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really great. Had me gripped immediately. He went past 90 seconds.
Yeah.
So that's how they know if you do it any longer, shit goes sideways.
Didn't he also mention that they end up getting weaker the longer they're in use, so they'll eventually leave?
I also think
what
this
was
is
the deal with Riley? Was he too young or some shit?
We'll get to that.
I think part of it is like a prolonged use. Like the point is like with Mia and this kid at the beginning, they did it so much, which is like the drug use analogy is they used it so much that they were seeing demons without it, which is like the premise. And then with this scene, she's like so addicted at this point. She's like, oh, what's wrong with a 15-year-old doing it? You know, like everybody should do it. Everybody should try it even just a little bit.
And then she sneaks it home in her book bag and like a fucking
And then, I mean, Riley could also be just like really susceptible to it. It's I think also an allegory for drugs. It's like where it hits people differently.
And we know that he's scared. And we know like he tried to go into his sister's room because like the first time he saw it, he got really freaked out. So like he's probably
get that
just
moment
more...
in the beginning when he his buddy tries to pressure him into smoking cigarettes, but now that the cool kids are doing hand, he wants to be like them.
Like a vulnerable
Zombie
kid.
Rhea also puts her hand on his face when he's sleeping.
Yeah.
So like I said, I think it was always pushing towards him anyway.
Yeah.
So then he does it. The 2 minutes happen, and then I guess I don't know what happens here. Is it the ghost of the mother that's being deceptive, or is there another ghost that's channeling her? Yeah, it's
ambiguous.
Yeah,
it's basically he was there for too long. The other ghosts kind of came in. The like malevolent ghosts came in and were like, "This fucker's got a portal open. It was like, I'm gonna take over him."
Yeah,
it was like, "Hey, I'm Dirty Mike and the boys, and someone left his car door open." Like that's exactly
for sure. Yeah, they got a whiff of that unlocked car, which was Riley.
I think there's more.
And they all piled in like a bunch of clowns.
That old man at the end.
It's covered in ass.
So I think there's multiple readings to it. It might have been in the mom in the beginning and then somebody else took over, or it might not have ever been the mom. I don't think it really matters one way or the other.
Yeah, or it could have just manifested to Mia at that point. But then what happens is one of the craziest poltergeist attacks I have ever seen on a fucking movie screen.
That was some Hereditary level.
That was brutal.
That was
shit.
That was like Invincible episode 3 when Omni-Man kills. Like it just comes out of nowhere, and it's not only is it brutal, but it's tastefully done. Like everything's in camera. There's no like quick edits. Like it's
that kid is just so sweet, and you're watching this really
great
nice
physical performance from him too. Actually.
And you just really don't want this to happen to him.
I know. And all the actors are having such like appropriate real world reactions. They're like, oh my God, call 911. And then these two kids are like, delete the video. Like, we don't want to talk to the cops. Like there is such natural, genuine, like high school kid reaction to what is going on.
They're trying to take the fucking hand. They're trying to take the hand out of his hand. And it's holding on to it because that's the conduit, right? So then they're pulling. They finally get it out of his hand. And like, the chair flies across the fucking room after kicking the sister out the room, and the door closes. And then he starts slamming his face on the corner of a fucking shelf or whatever. And I was like, yo, and then that last one that he was definitely going to die.
Breaks her hand.
He breaks her hand.
Yeah, he was about to kill himself with it.
Yeah, and like, yo, his face. So all of that, everything up until this point has been amazing, right?
Hold on. We didn't even get to the fact that Mia just goes into shock and you hear like Saving Private Ryan type audio where the room,
the shell shock.
You're getting the shell shock audio, and she just goes to the bathroom and washes her hands.
Also about how he tried to rip out his eyeball at one point.
That was the point, Nick, that you were like this, I'm sure, right?
Yes.
Because that was happening.
Yes.
I was watching it. I was like, nope.
Like Pat said, they did not shy away from this. They were like, oh, he's going to take out his eyeball, and you are going to see it. Like, you're going to be forced to see that.
That was just fucking gross.
That's her right there.
That was her.
That's her right.
It ain't me.
What are these ads over here?
Jobless reincarnation.
Oh, why do you have that Anka ad over there?
All right, so what were you going to say about, so this is where it takes a turn for you, you think?
The exact hospital scene is where it takes a turn.
Yes.
Now, is it because of Mia leaving with David?
No,
what was his name?
No, that's fine.
Daniel.
It was because the sister and the mother, the sister was there and not under the influence of anything. She knows that Mia didn't drug Riley or give him anything. It was as safe and innocuous as everyone else up until that point. There was no way Mia could have accounted for what happened to Riley.
But
there's not a chance.
Mia allowed
she
Riley
didn't
to do
want
that.
Riley. She didn't want her younger brother to be doing this at all.
Yes.
And Mia pushed for it so it is her fault.
But the whole thing was, did you give him something where there are drugs?
No,
and
that
she
was the
kept saying-
mom.
The
she
mom
kept saying,
thought that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the problem I have is that these characters could have a simple conversation and put all of that conflict to
this
bed.
is an allegory about kids doing drugs.
Yeah, and I don't think it was good in this
When
moment.
mom asks, what were you doing? You lie. As a kid, you lie.
Yeah.
And you could, that's the thing is she's covering for her best friend. We didn't give him anything. And technically there weren't actually any drugs. So we didn't give him any. What are you going to say? Oh, we gave him a possessed hand and let him talk to fucking spirits.
The hand.
I mean, that's
Jade,
kind of the conundrum, but also that's not my point. My point is that they pressed her on something that they knew that she didn't do. Is number one.
The sister
and number
did.
two.
The sister did not. The mom did.
And
who
number
wasn't there.
two, later on in the movie, the best friend accuses her of sleeping with the boyfriend, of fucking her boyfriend, and number one, that kind of came out of nowhere. Number two, what happens next if that did happen? Do you guys still solve this mystery together? And number three, why didn't Mia just say, no, I didn't? And Daniel said, no, we didn't.
They did say that.
No, they didn't. There was
they did.
no, they didn't. There was no follow-up.
Yes, they did.
No, they did not. There was no follow-up conversation to that. They then said,
the
we can't worry about that right now. We got to try something or Riley's going to die. That's what they talked about because they immediately talked about the cannibal.
They did have this conversation.
And she never denied it.
No, they did deny. They did. All right. Don't calm down. They said the sister said, what's her name? Jade.
Mm-hmm.
Jade was like, you guys slept together when somebody alluded to I woke up next to me and she was sucking my toes, and they were like, it's not like that. And then Jade doesn't let them finish. And at one point, Mia says, we have to do something, about Riley. Mm-hmm. That's more, and that's when the Rocky and Bullwinkle give Mia the backpack with the hand. All of those things that you said didn't happen, did happen. Maybe they didn't spell it out as much as they could have, but that conversation
You're talking
did
about
happen.
at the second bus station.
Yes.
When
that did happen.
She says, you sleep with my boyfriend and you expect me to do whatever. Mia never followed that up with, no, I didn't.
It happened before that.
They talked about it before.
I remember they said they didn't canoodle, but they didn't explain what was going on.
Because Mia doesn't give a shit. Daniel is the one who goes, it wasn't like that. Mia doesn't care about anything going on because she has extreme drug addiction and also wants to help Riley.
Right.
So this
Plus,
is
she's
so
dealing
far
with-
out of mind.
This is the point in the movie.
Continue, Mike.
This is the point in the movie where, as Mia predominantly is the main character and the the quote unquote narrator in the movie in a kind of a way, this is the point in the movie where she fully becomes the not trustable narrator.
Yeah.
And like that, this is like, she's down her schizophrenic, like weird path, and we're still getting things from her perspective. We're still getting like the takes and kind of things. So it's almost like the things that are important or not important, she kind of doesn't give a shit about, because she's just kind of figuring out about fixing this and getting her mom, and she can do this and she can do that. So the issue that I have with it isn't like what Pat was saying. It was that you do this big thing and you have Riley get completely fucked up. And then there's just such like the downturn of, okay, well, we got to go to the source and we got to figure out what's causing this and all of this and that. And it's, you've taken away what you've already established as, we know this. This is the drug. This is what everybody does. Our whole friend group.
We don't need any backstory on this.
You don't need the backstory. You don't need to go back to the other guy. You don't need to try and explain it and him be like a moody little prick.
Yeah, I do like that aspect, how they didn't try to like quantify the hand or like try to like, because like it doesn't matter where you get drugs from. You know what I mean?
I think, Mike, that while I do understand what you're saying, they need something to like now we have a problem and we need to figure out a way how to solve it. And that interaction with that guy was necessary to get the message across. The less you use it, the less strong it is.
I totally agree. I feel like they could have done that with Mia almost using it more and more and showing the like opposite effect.
Right. Yeah,
because
I get that.
At this point, like I wanted more of a pull. I wanted, because Mia's still almost leading this charge, and it's like she should be doing it more, and like you should see her more with her mom or this, and like get like more and more physically.
So like, more disheveled. With the mom. I think it's interesting because I think we see a rapid acceleration of the spirit's powers. So in the beginning, they're just basically communicating through the hand, and then by the end of it, they're like imitating people and giving her, making her do things, showing her people that aren't there. I think it would have benefited from a little bit more of a ramp up rather than just all of a sudden they're extremely powerful. But I don't think it's that big of a problem. It's just something they could have. It's an hour and a half movie. You could have stuck an extra 15 minutes in there.
I did say to Liz that the movie could have been probably 10 or 15 minutes longer, and it could have fleshed out some more of the ideas. But I do like the idea of like when you look at it as an allegory of drug addiction, and the hand is the drug that they're abusing. Like, you don't care where the drugs come from.
Right.
You don't care who you're getting them from. You don't care how it works. You just know that it does. You know what I mean? And
or if it's dangerous, you're like, I've done this before. It's not, I know how to
I feel we didn't get that with Mia enough in that portion of the
film.
Fair enough.
That's quite the opposite. I feel like it shouldn't be said at that point. If you're going down the hill of the unreliable narrator because she's so out of her mind at this point, then she wouldn't have even been thinking or worrying about those things. So why would it come up?
I don't know if
she was fighting her own addiction at a certain point to save her friends.
I don't know
because
if
her
mom is
telling her to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if unreliable narrator is the right term. I think, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what you're saying more is she's not thinking straight and she's not doing the logical next steps. Not that the story is showing you something that didn't actually happen. It's just that the main character's focus is no longer on, okay, what's the next step? How do we do this? It's I'm so wrapped up in what's going on in my life. I'm not thinking about, I need to solve this argument with my best friend. I'm worried about getting my next hit.
Right. What I would have liked a little bit more was a little more detachment from Mia and her friends because of this kind of thing. And then a little bit more tension, because you have all of that tension in the hospital when Riley's first in there. And it's like, we don't want you here. We don't want this. You could have like continued that kind of like crack that's going between them.
Isolating herself,
but it kind of,
because of drug use.
Yeah, but it kind of almost like fixes itself, and they're like, well, we have to fix this because crazy Mia now says that we have to save Riley because something has to be done.
Jade was
like there's
almost...
not a lot of incredulousness from Jade. Or
she's else. Like almost too on board with summoning more demons to help her brother.
Hand back to the hospital.
Like if I was Jade at this point,
that was a wild scene too. Holy shit!
I would have been like, listen, like I told you not to do this with my brother. You did it. Like I and then there's like this weird relationship you have with my boyfriend. This is strange. Like, for right now, you need to take a step back and we're
Well,
going to let the medical professionals handle this.
That's another good thing to bring up, too.
They used to be together.
They were together,
Yes.
and then there was tons of comments, like, remember that conversation?
Yes.
They're talking about, him touching my coochie or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the people at the party were
Yes,
like,
Haley
she's
says
hitting
he's-
on your boyfriend.
Yeah.
So even if that conversation never happened at the bus stop, Jade is already convinced at this point that something's happening.
Yes.
It doesn't matter, and Mia knows that. It doesn't matter what I say. She already thinks this is happening. And so I just
don't understand how two people could call themselves best friends and act like that.
Hey man,
I'm sorry. I'm
Best
just
friends?
not. I'm not.
Taking the moral
I'm sorry.
high ground.
I'm not convinced upon that. I'm just not.
Well,
I don't buy that. I don't. That is a conversation that if they were actually best friends could have been settled in 5 or 10.
but they're
minutes.
also in high school.
And they're also in the middle of this
One of them
big,
is
traumatic
more
event.
of a reason too.
And one of them is
they're all
becoming a
hopped
drug
up on
addict. So
hand.
Let's jump ahead to kind of bring this thing into the station. I think that the latter half, obviously, you get more of Riley abusing himself and like
that shower
that
scene.
shower scene is.
and his face is all. He looks like fucking the Joker in the Batman movie.
Yeah. he really does though.
Right?
You say.
Similar,
Dude,
like
he was like, listen, I worked in an ER for 3 years, and I've seen motherfuckers in motorcycle accidents that look better than he did. I mean, like, fuck me.
yeah,
That was
brutal.
awful. Like, then like the old guy laughing in the bed, the ghost. That was something else.
They got the ugliest people that they could have. Like, they did such a good job casting these ghosts. I get a lot of it's prosthetics, but
They got some Tim and Eric extras.
my God,
that
was
I have
horrifying.
to show you
The guy with the big titties.
I'll send it through Discord.
In the bedroom. That ghost, the old man.
Was that an old man? I thought it was a woman.
Was it a woman?
Which one?
The one sucking on the toes?
That was
Yeah.
a woman. Yeah,
That was a woman.
Why was
Sucking on them
Why was she
toes.
bald?
because she's
I
just
would-
old
women-
and no
women
hair.
Because she died in
bald,
some
Pat.
way that
She
made her
looked-
bald.
She was
waterlogged.
waterlogged, like a man with breasts. I was like, strange
Wait,
choice,
Pat,
but
can
all
I?
right.
Pat, can I? I'm gonna send you the actor that plays the old man. His IMDb.
It's
You
Zachary
have to pull up-
Quinto.
It's Cass Comerford. You have to pull up his photos and show them, like
I'm
because
sorry. What is his
this
name?
man, Cass Comerford.
Okay.
Oh my god.
But this, just wait. Keep going.
Full screen this
Oh
bitch.
no! Oh god!
Wait,
no.
I'm sorry. When I said they were ugly, I meant like the prosthetics and stuff. Not
No.
What's going on? Oh, this.
Shit.
Yeah.
I was like, this man just plays,
So he's just a crazy old
the
man.
crazy old prospector.
Yeah.
Looks dead there.
Oh, look at him with his bow tie.
These.
This
Jesus
is my
Christ.
favorite. This
Oh
is
my
my
God.
favorite.
Well, good job, Cass. You were sufficiently creepy.
Yes, you played your role
Yeah.
well.
Do we want to just kind of speed run to
Let's
the
get
end?
to the end. Yeah.
I really enjoyed the twist, and it wasn't. I mean, obviously, it was leading up to this, but it turns out basically the whole time they've been playing a giant trick on Mia. This is not about Riley. She's just being sold lies. She's tricked into murdering her own father.
No, he doesn't die.
He doesn't
That-
die.
Yeah,
but he
stabbing him
stabs
in the neck with a
him.
pair of scissors.
When
Yeah.
you
Well-
start to hear the mom go, he's lying to you. I would have never wrote that note. He's coming. He's gonna come. He's gonna. And I was like,
You are
I
like,
was
oh, fuck.
sitting there. I was like, oh no,
shit.
oh
I
no,
was like-
oh no.
She's saying, "Oh no!"
Oh,
I was
no.
like, I was sitting there. I was like, I want to see how this one plays out. Like,
This is very. I mean, like that's.
I want to see how it
It's
plays
very
out.
much like what happened in Oculus. I don't remember the details, but I remember them playing a lot of mind games and
she
tricking
bites
the
the
people.
light bulb.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm. Oh, was it
live
like
a
an
whole-
apple?
Yeah, they live a whole life and they're still in the room or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, it's very much like Smile in that.
Smile as
too,
well, yeah.
A fake ending, so to say. But this,
Yeah.
But like, so wait, the whole the whole crux is that they really want her.
Yeah. Well, I think they. I
think they
know.
just want someone.
They want someone, but they're playing these mind games on Mia. She thinks she's being led to a solution by this ghost who is pretending to be her mom, when really she's being tricked into killing Riley while he's still like under the control of the spirits, which would trap his soul forever with
Yeah.
him. when he really needs to just stop using the hand, heal up, and then he'll be good.
Yeah.
So they trick Mia.
Almost like drugs.
The less you use them, the less hold they have over you. So they trick Mia into thinking that she needs to mercy kill Riley, much as she couldn't bring herself to do with the kangaroo in the beginning.
Absolutely.
Which was a good...
wild to me. I was like, this is her solution? I was like, okay, let's see how it plays out.
But then when they go into the spirit, the spirit lets her in. That was horrifying.
Oh, yeah.
That was so gross. And you don't even see really anything, but just the flashing of imagery was horrifying.
And like the little girl shows up.
Yeah.
Because at first I thought that was the plot twist. I was like, wait, is Riley like actually like a little girl?
His spirit is a little girl.
Spirit is, you know what I mean? Like I thought we were going like that down that direction. I was like, listen, I ain't hating.
That'd be some elevated horror.
Yeah. I was like, I ain't hating.
That's true.
I just want to see it. I just want to see where this goes. That's all. I'm just curious. And not only that little girl looked like my goddaughter, so it was even 1,000 times more terrifying because out of anyone that like I'm gonna use the term murderous like that you know you'd be worried like maybe it's possibly
and who knows if that's not another spirit that's masquerading as a cute little girl.
Exactly. You know?
But the spirit lets her into their realm where they're just torturing Riley, and he looks so fucking scared. So that means his spirit has been tortured for how long? For days at this point.
Yeah.
And then Mia brings him to the foot of a fucking freeway and is going to push him into oncoming traffic.
These nurses in this hospital are so suck. Unreliable.
Yo, all right. So
the mom's like, my son was right here. Where is he? And she's just like, he was right here a minute ago.
Not to be that I didn't allow it to affect me in the movie, but I did think about it. I was like, well, they wouldn't have even gotten that far. Like they wouldn't have gotten past off the
you got a suspension
of disbelief.
Yeah, exactly.
She would not have gotten into the hospital with those scissors in her back pocket.
Oh, not at all. Maybe.
I carry scissors in the hospital.
Maybe in Australia.
It's possible. No. I mean, like
down under.
You could get into. You could definitely get into some hospitals with scissors, no problem.
Yikes.
Pat's
This
tried.
is neither here nor there.
But
yes,
there is on every hospital bed there's a patient alarm. Like as soon as he moved the wrong way, they would have known.
Mia unplugged everything.
Yeah, but it's bad. It's a battery powered thing. It's it's attached to the bed.
Damn, they thought this whole thing through.
If you unplug the alarm from the sensor, the sensor from
if it stops getting power, then it's gone.
It goes off. If you unplug it from the wall, it goes off on a reserve charge. Like there's no fucking way they wouldn't have even got out of the room. But that's besides the point. I didn't know who hit the car at first, like when they
from the driver.
You're not supposed to.
I was literally like, oh, like
she fucking did it.
Shit. I was like, who did it? Because I was sitting there like gripped.
Turns out it was just a kangaroo hopping across the freeway.
Well, because you've got Jade running in one direction, you've got her standing there with like the mom in her ear going, "We'll love him forever. We'll love him forever." I'm like,
you know what? I thought that was a great tell. The mom is like, "I'll look after him. I will have him forever."
Yeah.
And then that immediately, it's like, they're like, we'll have him forever. This is one of the spirits who's torturing his soul.
It's like, which is why I don't think it was ever the mom. I think it was just an evil spirit masquerading as
there's
the mom.
also a subtle difference between the real mom and the evil mom and the evil spirit mom.
Shit under the fingers.
Yeah.
Shit under the fingers, but also when it whispers in her ear throughout the movie, it's way more grotesque.
The gurgling.
Yeah.
Not only the gurgling, but the face as well is way more
it's so much more fucked up
than like when you see it in wide shots or like when she's having the conversation in it with the mirror. It just looks like the mom, but dead. Whereas that looks like a fucking demon.
Bloated.
Like
corpse.
It's all fucked up. Yeah.
I also think it's worth bringing up what's the boyfriend's name? Daniel?
Yeah.
Daniel.
He mentions in a conversation, I think when they go back to Mia's place, like Mia says, "Oh, I spoke to my mom," and Daniel's like, "Well, I think they can see our thoughts and they can think, they can see inside they know everything about us."
Yeah.
They said that Daniel like didn't like Jade basically.
Yeah. He makes you soft.
Yeah.
She makes you soft.
Yeah.
So they can see into our insecurities and they can see into our mind. So I think
you're trying to stay hard, and all your problems make me soft.
So I think that's also an important tell. Like that's where it was going. The mom was being, was a fake.
What was the other the other thing though? And we debated about this for a bit in the car ride home. At one point, they mentioned it can imitate people.
Well, clearly it did.
Yeah,
that's the thing though. It can only imitate dead people, right?
Well, imitated the dad.
Yeah.
Or at least it showed it. It may not have, because Mia was sucking on the toes, but she saw the spirit sucking on his toes.
Yes.
So she maybe it wasn't imitating a spirit. It was just showing Mia, the dad strangling her. And also, if you remember in that very opening scene, the brother who stabs his older brother says, "You're not him," and then stabs him. So it's showing him something else. I'd say it could imitate.
Else. It just fucks with your mind.
Yeah.
So
then ultimately
in the ending when she's pushing the wheelchair, I think there's a couple readings of what happens. What did you guys what do you think went down to cause Mia to be the one that winds up in traffic?
Oh, Pat thinks I gave the movie too much credit when talking about this. That's exactly what you said to me in the car, because I took it as like she jumped because she saw like it kind of as like a sacrifice. Like, I can get Riley out of this situation if like I put myself in it, essentially.
Well, I'm thinking, so we saw that scene where Mia takes her hands off the wheelchair. So she clearly makes some type of conscious decision or has a light bulb moment. Yes. I'm being tricked. But I'm also wondering if it's, what was I just about to say? So not so much to save Riley, but she realizes how badly she's fucked up.
Yes.
So she needs to, like, I just fucking murdered my dad. I'm not, like, what's going to happen to me? And I've gone so far down this path.
Yes.
I took it the extra dark step where I was just like, it's greed, and it's like, she's like, we'll take care of Riley, kill him. She's like, I want you to take care of me. Like, this is her fully succumbing to the drugs.
Okay, so we kind of went.
That's what I thought too. I thought it was like an allegory for an overdose. Like she's finally just losing herself to the drugs. Like she's just
also
letting it take her.
She now full on just literally dives down the rabbit hole
head first.
I don't want you taking care of Riley. I want you taking care of me. I'm going to do this, and you'll take care of me the whole time.
Right after the mom just said, "I'll take care of him. We'll have him forever." Yeah. Maybe she says, "I want that." Here's the other reading. Does Jade intercede and push Mia into traffic to save Riley?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, because she like wraps around at the top of the hill. I don't know if she
I don't know. I could see it being a possibility.
And it's just like Oppenheimer, they put a random hand in one frame.
Yep.
Jade is finally fed up with Mia at this point.
Yeah. So in the end, I thought this was beautiful that they had now she slowly comes to the realization that she is one of the spirits trapped in limbo and is summoned by a hand somewhere else in the world, in France or something.
Yeah.
And it was beautifully done.
That was great, because like it was like the same, you got to see the same scene from like the first time she did it from like the different perspective.
Now,
I also thought this was a good way to like let them know that the dad stays alive, because the dad makes it out of the hospital, quote unquote, where she's staying in. So
I will say this. It seems the consensus on the internet is that Mia snapped out of it for a second and was like, I'm too far gone. Like, which truthfully, at that point in the movie, that's how I viewed it too, where she was just so strung out and on edge at that point that she could not think straight at like what the decision was. And that was her moment of clarity. Was that she threw herself. But
that's the nice ending.
But there's that's like, you get all the checkpoints. You don't harvest any of the little sisters. You rescue them all.
See, but like that, like to me, her being trapped basically in eternity, repeating this thing, repeating the hand with other people, I think is in more alignment with her diving fully down and committing to it.
Right. And the allegory of drugs. It's like you've just totally given into the drug.
She was also,
and like, you are now part of the numbers of it, and on the other side of it,
Yeah, so, Mike, everyone's saying that is the happy ending. The hospital didn't make sense because the sad ending of her of dad leaving her in the hospital during the ending sequence, like
leaving in the hospital.
Like, you know how they see
the dad walking into the elevator.
Walking into the elevator at the end. Like,
what about it?
She lost her dad to drugs. Like,
oh,
No,
well,
like
he lost her.
She no longer
all
has her
around.
father anymore
Yes.
because of drugs.
there's like a happy ending for the family, and
the
like
whole
the sad ending.
The
is,
whole time she's ignoring his phone calls, which is another important thing. You know, it's like he's reaching out to her, and she's dealing with isolation and grief, and her dad's reaching out to her, but she's ignoring the call because she wants to go do hands.
Yeah, I see another one that says he'll be with us forever. Like that's another one they're calling out too. So. She killed herself to stop herself from killing Riley or anybody else. I'm also pretty certain that at the end in the hospital, it's unveiling the events that happened after her death. If I remember correctly, Riley gets better. Mia's dad was saved in time before he died. Pretty sure he was barely alive when that girl found him. Yeah, I forgot her name, whatever. And she got trapped in the limbo or just died wholly. I also think that Mia might have been taken over in the end by the highway by her mom or something else, that people ran up to her on the highway when she was standing, and I think everyone said, "Are you okay?" Her transporting to the hospital was showing that she isn't there anymore. This is what I believe what happened, and I could be absolutely wrong.
I like, for me, I think her getting up is almost like their version of when you see like spirit leave the body,
spirit rise up.
You guys ever see what's that movie?
Good Will
where
Hunting?
the kid like he doesn't die, but he's like in limbo. He's got to find his body. Fuck, what is it called?
Oh, you're talking about
Good Will Hunting.
yeah, Good Will Hunting.
Are you talking about
The Sixth Sense?
No,
Insidious?
no, not Insidious. Fuck.
I know what you're talking about.
I know.
Is it Invisible? Oh, The Invisible. I'm pretty sure it is. It's the guy that played Goku.
Oh yeah, the guy from Shameless.
Yeah. This movie.
Justin Chatwin.
This movie, The Invisible. So like this movie, this kid. Oh, it's written by David S. Goyer. That's why it sucks. So this movie, this guy, Justin Chatwin or whatever, Nick Powell, he like gets murdered, at a party or whatever over the weekend, and like, but he's in limbo. And he's got to solve his murder so he can come back to life.
From beyond.
And about halfway through the movie, he walks in on his friend committing suicide, and he swallows all these pills. And the way that they show it is like they cut to hit like him watching him like, and then all of a sudden the best friend's standing next to him, and it's like, why can I see myself? He's like, because you just tried to fucking kill yourself. Like he swallowed, and then like later on that kid wakes up because he didn't die from swallowing all the pills. Right. He made it. So his ghost is away, and then later on when they find the body, he doesn't like get into his body or something. It's like he just wakes up. You know what I mean? So that's what I feel like too. That this was
it's just an
good
allegory for your spirit.
And it's
leaving
also
your body.
it's also to play with your expectations too as the audience. Like you don't know until it's
exactly.
confirmed later on. And like I thought that was awesome at the end when now she's on the other side of the hand.
Well,
it was cool.
I got another question. Did you interpret the fact that the people who had the hand at the end were, I think they were French, but they were speaking some other language.
Yeah.
Does that mean to you that this hand has now traveled it's gone through like past, no pun intended, past hands so many times? Or is this the other hand that they talked about, that they said the other hand is somewhere out there?
Yeah. It's
interesting.
It is totally possible.
It's possible.
It could be both.
Could be both. I like that so much of this movie is left ambiguous.
Yeah,
Me
it's
too.
good. It was a nice, like I said, I think the parts that I did like were very refreshing, and it was very very well done. It was obvious that it was done by someone with a creative vision and the hunger to execute it the way that they wanted to.
The concept was developed by the producer of Bluey.
Yeah, yes, I did know that. I did hear about that.
I mean, after working on kids shows for so long, you got to get dark.
Hey, listen, after working on kids shows for how long, you're going to want to stab somebody, right?
It's like Ryan Murphy's transition from Glee to American Horror Story,
It literally is.
So we collectively have given this movie an 8 out of 10. We definitely recommend watching it. Do we want to move on to Clip of the Week?
Yeah, let's do it. Clip of the Week.
Clip it up.
Woo!
Oh yeah, it's the clip of the week. Oh, it's the clip of the week. It's the clip of the week.
You guys like drones?
Always.
That's a big fucking drone.
Ready, Mike?
Can you see
Let's do it. Yep.
That's a big fucking drone, bro.
Dude, you could kill so many soldiers with that thing.
Oh, God. It's not that big.
It's not that big, Nick.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yo, that's
Why were they doing it in the middle of the road?
tens of thousands of dollars
Yep.
down
my
the tubes.
God.
Oh my god.
Good one. That's so good. The comedic timing of this clip is
The horn.
fantastic.
This is very much like, you guys ever see Jurassic World where the owner of the park's like, I'm piloting the helicopter.
Yeah.
And not 3 seconds later, he crashes and burns and lets all the fucking pterodactyls out. This is exactly
Oh,
it's
so
that's
good.
like.
Show it again.
Pat, do you remember that
Don't
compilation?
worry, Cap. We'll bump those grasses right out.
Oh.
What?
Do you remember that compilation video we watched of every IMAX camera that Christopher Nolan has destroyed?
Oh, yeah.
That's what this feels
Yeah.
like.
It does.
It's like, you're good. You're good.
You're good. You're good.
You're not
Boom.
good.
This is what happens when you let little brother Riley pilot the fucking pilot the thing for the first time.
He did too much hand. Oh, that's good. That's a good one. Is this you, Nick?
This was me, yeah.
Damn, dude. What
Good
happened to the
job.
guy in the cab?
Yeah, I'm also thinking about this truck
Dude,
driver.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, what happened?
He's
to
fine. Don't worry about it.
Is he though? But like also,
He's fine.
he wasn't paying attention to the
Oh,
road.
I didn't realize that this guy's got
There
the
he is.
controller right here.
Yep.
He's definitely like, well, never mind.
I now owe somebody $30,000.
Yeah, literally. Ooh.
Everybody keeps
That's a
it
good
going.
one.
The schoolyard.
One
code.
more time, Pat. One more
Yeah,
time.
one more time for. I do, dude. It's a serious drone. This is definitely a cinema drone for sure.
I like that it stutters to start. Ooh, and here we go. Ow.
I wonder. Yeah,
What did
I
that
heard,
guy call out?
well, they're in China, so I don't know.
Sound like Haida.
All right.
Yeah. Asshole.
He's yelling at his
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if some wind got up under the one side and that's why it like canted, or if the pilot just didn't know what he was doing.
Maybe they shouldn't be doing it in the middle.
middle of a
Yeah, in the middle of a road.
Yeah, that's probably not a great
Like
idea.
it looked like there was a field right there that was
Yeah.
probably primed.
True.
To
the
do
grass
it
is too tall.
All right. Well, with that, we will see you all next week for
13 reasons why.
13 Reasons Why. Bye.